trying to get live wires up off of the ground in this area so that it is safe enough for maybe people to come back in soon. We saw a lot of people today encountering National Guard, and some of them being really, really frustrated that they can't get up to their friends' home or to their own homes. But this is part of the reason why in this area, at least that's what local fire officials are saying, is they're saying, yes, Gavin Newsom deployed them and activated them primarily because of concerns about looting. But in this area also, they're saying the mandatory evacuation areas where we're still not letting people in near the Eaton Fire in Altadena, they say it's mostly because of this, but there's still so many active little things going on in the area. And big picture, Gotti, you've been reporting on this all day, and I know you've already said it in this last hour, but the Eaton Fire is still, based on the numbers we have, only about 3% contained. So there's a lot of work to do, and it's just constant in this downtown area. And we really are exactly where that hardware store is, and so much has changed here in just the last 3 hours of little hot spots popping up again, but this massive influx of crews really coming down this sort of main stretch and diligently working, trying to get all of these pockets that still remain in this area out so that hopefully soon people can start coming in and assessing the damage to their town and to their homes. Gotti.
And Allison, I mean, where you are right now, people from Altadena, people from Pasadena, they're going to look at this and they're going to be, no, that cannot be like the main strip. That cannot be, I believe it's Lake Street, right? That's where all the mom and pop shops are. That's where, it goes straight up into the mountains. That is the main drag. It's like the heart of the community. And many people are going to see that, and they are not going to recognize a street that they drove on day in and day out. In terms of the facades, the ones that are still standing, does that mean that there's still a building there, or are they shells of themselves?
I mean, not always. I mean, some of them, it really is hard to explain. And Gotti, I spent a lot of time in conflict zones, and I got to tell you a lot of this street, Lake Avenue in particular, when we were driving down it, I looked at our producer, Gene Chu, and I said, this really does remind me of Ukraine. I know state officials have talked about this area as looking like a war zone, and that's also what I would describe it as. A lot of these buildings, it's like there's bits of the facade still standing, and then inside it just looks like somebody dropped an explosive device, but that's not what happened here. It's the fires, and that continues the further down you go this way. I mean, even just over here on the left, there's this Easy Stop that's a food store, I presume. I mean, all of it inside, like some of the exterior you can see is still standing, but inside everything is charred to a crisp and just absolutely destroyed. There are still some buildings across the street that look like they're okay, but then again you go further down and it's like the one or two that seem okay seem like they were anomalies, and then those embers, the sparks that sort of get carried up or down with the winds, they just kept on going. And this is, you get the sense when a lot of people in this community we've spoken to today, one man who lived here, he kept saying he was here when the fire broke out on Tuesday. He spent 5 hours with a garden hose trying to just wet down his home and neighbors, and he kept saying it's so crazy how much this fire jumped. And when you walk down Lake Avenue, I think you get a sense of that, because you see these buildings still smoldering, and then you have something like this one on the corner that is still standing, but then again you go next to it and that one's entirely down as well before you get next to that Many K market that's in this area. Gotti.
Yeah, it's the businesses, it's the homes behind us. I mean, just imagining a bomb blowing up in one building is a tragedy. Here, 7,000 structures that look like what you just showed us. Allison Barber, thank you so much for your reporting, and your perspective is so invaluable in a time like this.